true, and the meeting is just wrapping up right now. Also happening tonight in closed session, 8 village employees were laid off, including the public works supervisor and 3 code enforcement officers. The village also looking to fire Keith Freeman, the village administrator. The mayor says he's out, but trustees wanted to take a vote. Last month, Freeman was fired from Thornton Township, where he served as senior advisor to embattled Mayor Tiffany Henyard, who is also serving as township supervisor. Freeman's firing comes as Henyard is under federal scrutiny for lavish spending of village funds. She's also the focus of a number of lawsuits. Residents, as always, fill the room sounding off about the village's current situation. The board also approving changes to the credit card policy.
It would only allow for the Director of Administrative Services to use the credit card only on items that the board approves, and it puts a cap on any transaction of $5,000. There was consideration on completely cutting it off, but there are some bills that must be paid, well, it's most convenient to be paid with a credit card.
So back in April, a majority of trustees voted to hire former Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot as a special investigator to look into Tiffany Henyard's spending habits. Tonight, we're told her investigation is complete and Lightfoot will deliver a final report Thursday at 6:30 here in Dolton. I'm live tonight in Dolton. Regina Waldrop, NBC5 News.
The village of Dolton is more than $3.5 million in the hole. Mayor Tiffany Henyard is accused of misusing money, and today she's nowhere to be found.
Stephen, Lightfoot launched this probe in April. For the first time tonight, she's expected to talk about the findings, and this room filling up fast with residents who are here for it. Now, Lightfoot just made her way into the room here at the Dolton Park District. Right now, she is talking to residents who are here. The former mayor and federal prosecutor was hired by 4 village trustees to investigate Dolton Mayor Tiffany Henyard's spending habits. During her 3-year tenure, Henyard has faced numerous allegations of corruption, reckless spending, and retaliation. Henyard's also the focus of a number of lawsuits and federal probes. Lightfoot is said to have also looked into a controversial taxpayer-funded economic development trip to Las Vegas last year. Mayor Henyard was on that trip along with a handful of village representatives and her former assistant. That former assistant claimed while on that trip she was assaulted by a Dolton trustee and later fired. She's filed a civil lawsuit against Henyard and the trustee, accusing him of assault and Henyard of retaliation. The Department of Human Rights is now investigating. Now, we did reach out to the Henyard administration for a comment, but we have yet to hear back.
We have a lot more news to talk about tonight. Where did the money go in Dolton? That's the question former Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot was hired to answer. And for the first time tonight, she revealed some of her preliminary results of her investigation into questionable spending by Dolton Mayor Tiffany Henyard. NBC5's Regina Waldrop has been covering this story from the very start and is live tonight in Dolton with some of those startling findings. Regina?
Stephen, there were a lot of gasps from residents who were listening to this presentation, and I talked to several people after, and they said they knew things were bad, but they did not expect this. In Dolton tonight, a packed room for a long-awaited presentation on the village's financial crisis. Former Chicago Mayor and federal prosecutor Lori Lightfoot discussing her initial findings of an investigation into the spending habits of Dolton Mayor Tiffany Henyard and her administration. Some of the key findings: no annual report or audit since 2021. The general fund for day-to-day operations in the red with $3.65 million. Police department expenditures up 21%, with 2 officers paid more in overtime pay than regular pay. As of June 18th, 589 checks totaling more than $6 million approved, but not sent to vendors. 6 different credit cards with receipts rarely provided, and purchases under investigation, including $40,000 in charges to Amazon.
You may hear a number of things in the coming days, but what I can assure you is the information that we have shared, that we're putting our names on, is drawn directly from the financial records of this village.
I knew we were broke, and the way she broke it down and just let the other residents hear what was really going on, because Tiffany Henyard always talk about fake news, and this is real.
Henyard is also the focus of a number of federal probes and lawsuits. Lightfoot says her administration did not cooperate with this investigation. Now, we did reach out to the Henyard administration for a statement, but have yet to hear back. As for next steps, well, Lightfoot said this investigation not over. There's still a lot of work to be done out here. Some other developments tonight: the board recently approved a change to the village's credit card policy, and the acting police chief was placed on leave Monday. They say he has now been terminated. There's a plan for a hiring freeze and layoffs, and also the board said says the locks at Village Hall have been changed. That means elected officials out here can no longer use their Village Hall. Of course, there's so much happening out here, and we will continue to stay out here and follow this developing story. I'm live in Dolton tonight. Regina Waldrop, NBC 5 News.
Regina, thank you.
The outrage and the shock in South suburban Dolton last night during a packed meeting. That's where residents started to learn the scope of the village's financial problems.
NBC 5's Jen Shantz joins us now live in studio to explain how even more issues can come to light.
Certainly a possibility. Now, the person leading this investigation, former Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot, who's also a federal prosecutor, says this investigation is not over yet. What she did find so far led to gasps from some residents. Things like $40,000 worth of Amazon purchases using the village's credit cards, which rarely had receipts provided. Take a look. This was the packed room in Dolton last night where Lightfoot presented those initial findings into the spending habits of Dolton Mayor Tiffany Henyard and her administration. Lightfoot's findings showed there's been no annual report of audits for the village since 2021. The general fund, which covers day-to-day operations, has been steadily declining and is now in the red to the tune of $3.65 million. Police expenditures were up 21%, and since 2022, the village's average monthly expenditures are up nearly 30%. And as of June 18th, 589 checks totaling more than $6 million were approved, but they weren't sent to vendors. All of this while Henyard is the focus of a number of lawsuits and federal probes. According to Lightfoot, her administration did not cooperate with this investigation.
I know how I felt when I started seeing these numbers. So I can imagine how all of you are feeling after all this time being in the dark. And I just want to let you know that this isn't just a job. This isn't just some task. We feel this. And so we have worked very, very diligently, very hard under difficult circumstances to get as much information as we could to share with you.
The village board did recently approve a change to the village's credit card policy. The acting police chief was placed on leave Monday and has since been terminated. There's also now a plan in place of a hiring freeze and layoffs. NBC5 has reached out to Henyard for a statement on all of this. We've yet to hear back. And on top of this, the village board says locks at Village Hall have been changed for at least the third time. That means elected officials don't have access. Still a lot of chaos, a lot of unanswered questions here, and potentially more figures to be sorted out, something we will be following very closely.
A packed community meeting Thursday night, outburst after outburst. Following Special Investigator Lori Lightfoot's limited examination of Dolton's finances. Her report revealing as of May 31st, the village's general fund had a negative balance of $3.65 million. Lightfoot originally hired by trustees concerned about spending, like self-promoting taxpayer-funded billboards, ads, plus spending on lavish dinners and trips.
Why are we going to these places? What's happening here?
Dolton trustee Brittany Norwood sat down with the CBS News Chicago investigators in February, telling us then trustees were denied requested bank statements.
You're having the same reaction that we did when we saw it.
With credit card spending out of control.
Receipts for credit card purchases are rarely provided.
Lightfoot further uncovering spending that doesn't add up. The report shows $40,000 spent on Amazon purchases in one day, money that's unaccounted for.
These are somebody using one of the credit cards.
Another question lingering here, money spent on police overtime, with 2 officers racking up 6 figures in pure OT, $108,000 and $114,000. The deputy chief, just fired here last week, Louis Lacey, paid $96,000 in overtime.
The village has been unable to pay all of its monthly expenditures with available cash balance.
The village of Dolton is more than $3.5 million in the hole. Mayor Tiffany Henyard, she's nowhere to be found.
For deal with Christian, yo, for deal with Christian, smash that bell for DWC, yo, smash it, just just smash it. Hit that like for a deal with Christian. For a deal with Christian, smash that bell for DLC. Yo, smash it, just smash it. Hit that like for a deal with Christian.